Yo, what's good, y'all? Y'all read the title. I want to talk about the things that I've learned from using only pretty much a tripod over the past year and a half. Now, I do gotta say that the title is a little bit cap. I ain't gonna cap about capping. I've used the gimbal a handful of times over the past year and a half, but I've really found some interesting thoughts and I've learned some interesting things from only using the tripod. I want to tell y'all about these things. All right. Now, before we even get into this, I'm not anti-gimbal, I'm not anti-slider, I'm not anti-crane. I love stabilizers, I love gimbals, I love sliders. This is just what I've been using, and it isn't because I'm trying to be anti-gimbal or I'm trying to be different. It's because the things that I've been looking at over the past year and a half that truly inspire me to want to make things similar to it have been primarily on a tripod or handheld. So, of course, being a creative person who's inspired by something, you try to create things like that. So I just haven't been inspired by gimbal content over the past year to year and a half. So that's why I haven't really been using it. It's not because I'm anti-gimbal, I want to ish on gimbals. Nah, they're dope. All right, let's get into it. In pretty much any creative field, things always go back to the basics. They always do. Back in 2015, DJI announced they came out with the Ronin. I pre-ordered that thing, I got it, and I want to say I was probably one of the first people that had it. Just saying. I got the Ronin M, and I love that thing, and I wanted to use it for everything. It had curb appeal. Whenever you pull up to a set with this thing with these dual handles and this monitor on it, people thought you were the ish. It was futuristic RoboCop technology, and it provided this really new professional stabilized look on your footage. Now I don't want to say new as in we had never had stabilized footage before. Nah, we had glide cams, we had steady cams. It was just very unheard of to have access to a stabilizer that can consistently give you a level horizon when getting these, steady cam-esque shots on a DSLR or like a mirrorless camera. We didn't have access to that. I didn't have money to use a steady cam with my GH4. It just wasn't a thing, right? So that was the new thing, and I used the hell out of it. Every single video I could, I used the gimbal. And then you saw all of the gimbal manufacturers creating gimbals, and gimbals became cheaper and everybody had access to them. And that's kind of all you saw for like the past 4 or 5 years at this point. And I say all that to say, all of the things that have been inspiring me over the year to year and a half, past year to year and a half, have been primarily just handheld or tripod shots. It's kind of like us as creative people, we're always searching for the new thing, and the new thing, obviously it's not new, but it's different. Kind of being that everything was on the gimbal, was like going back to a tripod or handheld. So creativity always kind of just goes in circles, right? It always goes back to the basics. And it's not even just with filmmaking, like with photography. Remember back in the day, we used to edit our photos and we would desaturate out all the colors and then leave one color in there like red or blue. That's tacky, but it was cool and it was a phase and it was a fad, right? Or like when we used to, drag the fade all the way up in our photos, and then we would have these super contrasty photos. I don't know. We always kind of go in circles creatively, right? And I feel like that's where I'm at and that's where I've been. So never give up on the basics. Handheld and tripod, it's always gonna be a thing. And gimbals, not to say that they're a fad or anything, but when that's all you see, you kind of become numb to it. It's like drones. Drones were once these amazing, incredible machines, and then once everybody had a drone, the drone shot just didn't hit as hard. So I kind of feel the same way about gimbals. Things just go in circles. I'm paying attention to a lot of other things in the shot other than the movement. I felt like when I used to only use my Ronin for all of my music videos, all I would focus on was creating a really cool movement to make the shot look cool. And it almost became a meme because in every single one of my videos for a year-long span, the stand for the Ronin would be somewhere in the video, somewhere in the frame. And that just goes to show how much I was just not focusing on what was going on in the frame. The artist's posture might be bad. They might be doing something weird with their facial expression. I'll have the stand of the gimbal inside of the shot. My car will be in the background. I wasn't focusing on anything but creating these really cool movements. Let me run in really quick and, turn the roll on my camera. Or let me back out really fast and whip the camera around. You just don't really pay attention to the important things about a shot. So once I stripped back the gimbal and I just used the tripod and handheld, I'm focusing now on composition. I'm focusing now on color choices. I'm focusing on set design. I'm looking at the frame edge to edge to make sure there's nothing in the frame that shouldn't be there. And that is something that I've noticed heavily about not using a gimbal. I never really focused on composition while I was using the gimbal. It was just like, okay, let me just run around and make the coolest looking movement with the gimbal, right? So that's something that I've noticed that I found really important. Just stripping back that layer of movement and moving the camera has made me focus on the things that are moving in the frame and all these other more important things. Before I jump into this last and final thing that I've learned from using the gimbal, I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Canva. Now, Canva is an online design platform that has tons of templates for whatever you need in your entrepreneur business. Whether you need a logo design, whether you need thumbnails for your YouTube channel, whether you need a banner design for your Facebook or Twitter account, man, you can create pretty much anything on Canva, and they have tons of templates to do it. It's super easy to do. You just choose the template you want, you replace the things in it that you don't want, you create different animations with the things in it that you want, and it can become really stylized really fast. The things that I really love about Canva are, one, the animation feature. I like to just find like a text layout that I love and just animate it. And I use these a lot for these sorts of YouTube videos where I'm talking about different topics. I'll save it to a black background, drop it into Final Cut, and then switch to blend mode over the screen. And then I have this stylized title that I put minimal effort into creating. Also really like using Canva to create these short promotional pieces for my music video artists after I'm done with the music video. It's good for them, it helps them promote the project, and it just gives a stylized look to the entire piece. So Canva's great. It's so many more things that you can do on Canva that I'm not even mentioning. You really unlock the true potential of Canva when you try out Canva Pro. Canva Pro gives you additional access to premium fonts, more photo and videos, and also more templates. And it's also a lot more things as well. So Canva Pro is dope. And if you got 4 other creative homies who want to use Canva Pro, you can lock in 5 people on one Canva Pro subscription, which is dope. You can just create a team of creative people, and you can all utilize these assets to your benefit, which I love. So Canva Pro is only $12.95, but my link down in the description will give you an extended 45-day trial of the Pro subscription. So check it out. I really think that you will love it, and I think that it's a vital piece for any entrepreneur business. It doesn't matter if you do filmmaking, design, photography, anything. Everybody can use Canva. There's something on there for everyone. And the last and final thing that I've learned from only using a tripod over the past 1.5 years, whenever I do plan to use a stabilizer in a video, it's a lot more objective. It really gives a shot magic in a project when it's few and far beyond, right? If you see an entire video shot on tripod and handheld, and then you sprinkle in this gimbal or slider or crane shot for the specifically stylized shot that gives you a feeling, it hits so much harder. Man. And when I'm planning to use any sort of stabilizer other than these two on my project, it's a lot more objective. I'm not just using the gimbal because it's there. I felt like when I used to use the gimbal, it was like, okay, it doesn't matter what video I'm at. I'm just gonna put my Sigma 1835 on. I'm gonna switch it to 18 millimeters, and I'm gonna just run around really fast and try to get something that looks cool. Like, no, I think that now I'm looking at using these different filmmaking tools a lot more objectively, and it's just I think it's better to me personally. So that's my piece. That's what I've learned from only using a tripod and handheld over the past 1.5 years. Like I said, I'm not anti-stabilizer. I love stabilizers. I just think that when you objectively use them inside of a project, it makes them a lot more magical. And that's what I've learned. And that's what I kind of want to hit home to you guys. So down in the description, let me know what's your favorite stabilizer to use. Tripod has been mine lately, obviously, but a few projects that I got coming up will utilize this car mount a lot. I'm fascinated with car shots, so don't be surprised if you see a lot of those in my projects here coming up soon. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop it a like. If you're newer to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. But with that being said, I'm out, y'all. Peace.